All right, how's it going? I got another video for you. This just came out just a few hours ago, actually. Governor Mike Dewine lifts Ohio's safe-at-home order, makes coronavirus restrictions voluntary. Columbus, Ohio. The last of Ohio's mandatory restrictions to curb the spread of the coronavirus, including a ban on mass gatherings and a 2-week self-quarantine period for travelers entering the state, will be cut short, Governor Mike Dewine announced Tuesday. If you're coming to the state, why would you quarantine yourself? If I'm going to visit, say I'm like out of state and I'm coming to visit somebody here, I wouldn't quarantine myself for 2 weeks before you then start business. That doesn't make sense. The current safe-at-home order will be replaced with an urgent health advisory, Ohio's Protecting Ohioans order, the governor said during his daily coronavirus briefing. We are now moving from orders to strong recommendations. It never should have been orders in the first place. The orders have destroyed, I want to say it's close to 30 million, if not more, nationwide, and I believe it's over 1 million in Ohio alone. There's 11 million residents, so it's I think it's around 10% or more than 10% of the population has become unemployed because of this. Most of the Dewine administration coronavirus restrictions, including mandatory stay-at-home and non-essential business closure orders imposed in March, have already been relaxed or lifted in recent weeks. Has it? I don't think it has. Under a safe-at-home order put into force on May 1st, under the order, the state has been moving to gradually reopen businesses and other sectors in public life. Because they keep bringing up, if everybody just goes at once, everybody's going to die and they're going to spread it. When you have, Georgia and Florida that opened up, and they're like, oh, wait 2 weeks. Okay, we waited 2 weeks, and they're their case is still on par with other people. There's, no mass spike in cases. There's, no mass deaths or anything like that. So then you have, other states like South Dakota that, never shut down. They're like, hey, just be responsible. The government can't shut down stuff. It's tyrannical. The two main remaining mandatory social distancing rules have been self-quarantine rule for travelers, first issued in early April, and a ban on most gatherings of 10 or more people in place in one from or another since March. When the safe-at-home order was imposed, the governor warned that people should not be too fixated on that end date. The order itself will be superseded through the month, he said. Dewine's announcement comes after reports about crowded patios in Cleveland. They probably are Patriots. In Cleveland and elsewhere around the state last weekend after the governor allowed outdoor dining, drinking to resume last Friday. On Monday, Dewine said he was adding a large contingent of law enforcement and health officials to the state's unit in charge of investigating social distancing violations. So there's a lot of it's essentially is what it's turned into from what I've seen on Facebook and stuff. There's a lot of snitches, snitching about stuff. Because I think here, the downtown area, there's a place, Standard Hall. It's a bar where they have their tables are the big wooden spool things or whatever it is. And when you get people drinking, I mean, that's what it's going to be. I guess they cited them on Friday, and they came back and they cited them again on Saturday. I think one of the times it was because there was a line outside on the outside of the bar, on the sidewalk maybe to get in, and they were citing them because there's a crowd there. Which that's nothing they can have. There's not a lot they can do about that when it's outside of there, but they still did it. And then oh, if you get a third, we're going to pull your liquor license. So they essentially. They're trying to opening to make money for employees so they can pay their bills and pay their rent or mortgage and be able to buy their food. And they essentially, I guess the owner shut himself down again because he didn't want to lose his liquor license because they would lost the business altogether. So now they're saying oh, we're not doing it, but they're forcing people's hand to do it, which is terrible. The governor has come under increasing fire from many of his fellow Republicans in the state legislature for his administration's stay-at-home and business closure orders. Late last month, House Speaker Larry Householder stated that House Republicans have felt disrespected because the governor largely disregarded their opinions on how to roll back sweeping business closures. Several other GOP lawmakers have since continued the drumbeat of calls to reopen. Through letters, social media posts, a pro-reopening House task force. Most notably, the Ohio House passed legislation that would limit the Ohio Department of Health Director Dr. Amy Acton's authority to issue lasting orders. Similar legislation has been introduced in the Senate, though Dewine pledged to veto any such bills that reaches his desk. That's like going to I believe it was might have been the Oregon one here, where they're saying that like they enacted the order, but after like 28 days, you can't just have the executive order. It has to go and be passed through the legislator. Acton, who has been signing most of the state's coronavirus orders, as she's the one given the power under the state law to do so, which that's still up for debate whether she actually is or isn't, was notably absent from Tuesday's briefing. So we have that. Then we have the one here. It's we'll just go into it. And this one came out yesterday, May 18th. Dewine, Ohio will use all the resources at our disposal to enforce social distancing at bars and restaurants. There's a lot of, it feels like a lot of socialist, communist, kind of like a lot of these like doublespeak type things from like 1984. Columbus, Ohio, responding to reports of crowded patios around Ohio, Governor Mike Dewine said Monday the state is marshaling all the resources at our disposal to assemble law enforcement and health officials to ensure bars and restaurants are following the state's social distancing rules. They also have like the Ohio Department of Health, I believe, put out like a line where you can call and report. You can like snitch on people essentially. The governor, speaking at his regular coronavirus briefing, said the state is assembling a large contingent of law enforcement and health officials from across state agencies and from our local communities to conduct compliance checks and refer offenders for prosecution. You want to work your job, you're going to jail. Violators, among other potential penalties, could lose their liquor license. I seen a thing earlier on Twitter too, like, in New Jersey, there was a gym that was opening up. Then I guess at first, like the cops came in and they were like saying that you're in violation of order, then they left. But I guess they came back again and there's like some guy that was working out and like he refused to give them their name. So he arrested, because of that, they like arrested the guy, which if you're just working out, there's no reason for me to give you your name. There's like a lot of issues with like cops just being kind of tyrannical. We're just following orders, boss. And they're just like these orders, which aren't even like lawful orders, but they're still following it anyway, which goes back to the one cop, I believe in Missouri, that was like going to arrest like churchgoers. He was like trying to state that your orders, your rights are suspended, which is, your rights cannot be suspended. But yeah. Dewine said the people will be added to the Ohio Investigative Unit under the State Department of Public Safety, which currently consists of about 70 people. The governor said he didn't yet know how many more people will be added to the unit. The governor's announcement follows reports and social media posts about large numbers of people standing and milling around at establishments in Cleveland and elsewhere around the state this weekend, which reopened after the Dewine's administration allowed bars and restaurants to resume outdoor services on Friday. Because heaven forbid we have people standing and milling around. Dewine said the Ohio Investigative Unit handed out several citations to restaurants and bars over the weekend, including establishments in Columbus and Midway in Clark County. Separately, local health departments can also issue warnings and citations, he said. Nothing particular that Columbus so far has issued. Noting particularly that Columbus so far has issued 8 citations. The governor noted that all restaurants and bars must keep employees and patrons at least 6 feet away from each other at all times to curb the spread of coronavirus. How? If somebody's gonna come in and take your order, how are they gonna stay 6 feet away? That whole idea seems like we're gonna allow you to open, but we're not gonna allow you to be able to take the correct actions you need to be able to operate your business even half successfully. Under the Ohio Department of Health's order, customers must remain seated when dining and or drinking. What? You have to sit. You can't stand. Though the point was not mentioned in the list of mandatory requirements for restaurants that was posted to the state's Restart Ohio website. Asked why the rule wasn't included in the list, Dewine spokesman Dan Tarney stated in an email that it was, but in different terms. He pointed to a section stating, to open congregate areas in restaurants and bars that are not necessarily for the preparation and service of food or beverages, billboards, card playing, pinball games, video games, arcade games, dancing, entertainment shall remain closed. I know there is downtown, there's I think it's it's basically like an arcade bar. I know they have one in Greensboro, North Carolina as well. It's like a giant arcade where you can go and drink and stuff. So I'm assuming, depending on whether it has like an outdoor patio area or not, like it's probably still closed. Which is I don't like this whole government overreach aspect of all this stuff that's going on. Dewine said while most restaurants and bars around the state have been doing an amazingly good job since reopening Friday, there are some outliers whose conduct jeopardizes our ability, frankly, to move forward as a state. They're doing this whole thing, too, where it's like a lot of fear-mongering, like, oh, you see this particular area here, that could kill everybody in the state. I mean, I know Walmart and Target and Aldi and all these other places, I mean, they're like congregating there, but this is different. The governor continued they have an obligation to control the environment, and if they cannot control the environment, they should make the wise judgment not to open. Or if they get into a situation where they can't control it, they need to close. You know how you haven't had the money the last 6 weeks to pay your bills? Well, if you can't control, people or drunk people or people that have like their own ideas and responsibilities, well, you might as well just keep it shut down. I mean, who needs money anyway? We gave you $1,200, right? Who cares if your rent or mortgage is just $2,000? The governor also said that individuals caught violating the 6-foot distancing rule at bars and restaurants can also be personally cited. We would not rule that out at all. Well, it's funny because I've been luckily I've been able to work this entire time, and there's and I've gone to the grocery stores and stuff, and there's been no 6-foot rule or anything, or no mask or anything like that. But all of a sudden now they're like wanting to incorporate that. I mean, that should have been like months ago. I don't know. Dewine repeating a comment he has frequently said Ohio's economic recovery is tied directly to how successful the state is in reducing the transmission of the virus. I'm still going to back it. They should have taken like South Dakota's approach, and it should have been a suggestion, not an order. If we're going to bring the economy back, people have to feel safe when they go out. I feel safe when I go out. I feel safe because I've been going out this entire time because I've had to. They have to feel that the rules are being followed when they go to a restaurant. However, Dewine said he was not surprised that some patios were packed on a warm spring weekend. It's nice outside, he said. People want to get out. So if you like this, you can give me a like. If you really liked it, you can like and subscribe. If you're on Facebook, you can like and give me a follow. And I'm also putting it on BitChute here. If you really would like to support me, I have a subscribe star here. You can donate to and be kind of like a monthly patron. And I'll post all this stuff here. All right. Thanks. Later. Bye. Let me know what you think in the comments below.